What it do? What it do? Man, it's been a hot, hot minute since I've been on here. Um, but welcome back to the JJL Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jordan Big J, or it's your boy Big J Jean Louis. Not no Jean Lewis, not no Jean Louise. Get it right, Jean Louis. As we wait for my co-host Kyle Edwards to hop on, aka Zion Williamson. We in for a good show. I know my skin. I got a little darker. I got that from my cruise. We went to hence the introduction music, the island music. 'Cause I'm an island boy. um, yeah, we went to. I went on a carnival the Carnival Cruise Line. We went to the Bahamas, Amber Cove, which is the DR. We went to Grand Turks. Now, I did go to Grand. I did go to Turks before, but for my 21st, I went to Turks and Caicos, which is like the main island. But I never been to Grand Turks, which is beautiful, clear water. Did snorkeling with the rays, stingrays, snorkeling, saw some fish. Pretty cool. But I got a nice little tan. You know what I'm saying? Still peeling, but hey, we back to it. I got my graduation in May, May 23rd. So I'm excited for that. But the important thing is we are back in business. Um, but yeah, like when I was on the boat, I saw some news that Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Ravens on a 1 year deal. I, I tried to get Wi-Fi. I got the Wi-Fi package for like I think it's like 24 hours. It's like $22 for like 24 hours. I try to stay in touch with my fans as much as possible on the boat, but it if y'all have ever been on a cruise, I know this is a sports show, but if y'all been on a cruise, um, once you leave that main port, like you're out like on the water, like in the middle of nowhere, and I think it's like that Monday, like or Tuesday. That boat was rocking. I got my co-host coming in, uh, Kyle, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good.
I was telling the fans I'm like darker than you now, man.
I mean, I guess pretty close.
Nah, man. Yeah, man. Them Grand Turks and Bahama sun rays got me dark, man. Got a nice little crisp tan, but yeah, I was telling the viewers that I was on a cruise and like doing like a little hiatus,
Mhm.
a little vacation. But yeah, I was just kind of like introducing ourselves again. Like I'm Jordan John Louis, the host, and I got my co-host Zion Williamson, man. Uh,
Yep,
Even though y'all not in the playoffs, but it's all good.
I got plenty of time.
What to eat healthy and lay out the Mountain Dews.
I gotta tell them, man. Stop with the beignets and then jambalaya and all that. I
Hey,
need to
don't get
get it
wrong.
right. I
That
need to get it right.
that jambalaya is spicy, man. That's mad good, mad flavorful. So
It,
I mean, you're in Atlanta. You're down south. That's down south food, man.
I've had my share of jambalaya for sure.
You had your West African foods, right? The rice, beans, chicken, steak,
I mean,
vegetables.
having Trinidadian in my blood and all that does not help because that food is really good as well. But it's tough.
But yeah, man. Like we back in business, man. My charger came out the wall. But yeah, man. How you doing, man? How are things, man?
They, I mean, I can't complain. Um, have some teams in the playoffs that are doing really well.
NBA,
Getting,
yes, sir.
yeah, I got Celtics. I got Bruins in hockey doing well. Got
Our hockey going.
Revolution
Yep.
are doing well in MLS so far. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can start with the NBA. Like I know you said you like were you aware of what Phil Jackson said, or do I have to read it? I mean, I can read it. Oh, I mean, like, I was gonna read the statement anyway, but if you know what he said or whatever about the bubble,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
was
I know
gonna
you
read
put
the
it in there, but I
statement.
mean, for I guess viewers, you can kind of let people know what he said.
So yeah, like before I read it, like like so, like the bubble happened. Like with Phil Jackson, he coached the great MJ,
Hmm.
Michael Jordan. He coached Kobe Bryant with the Lakers, so he coached a lot of legends. Um,
He had a, I
and
mean, he
Knicks,
had
the
a
LeBron
great
with the
resume
Knicks.
of players.
Well, then they coached the Knicks, and then they had the triangle offense, and it worked for a little bit with Carmelo and everything, but that kind of uh like hit the fan, and I'm not sure if they still use the triangle offense in the next organization, but they used to be the main kind of offense when Phil Jackson was at the helm of the coaching job. But yeah, people don't know him. He coached with the Bulls with MJ, Scottie Pippen, the greats,
Yep.
Rodman, and then he coached. I'm pretty sure he coached Shaq, Kobe, all in that time frame. And so recently, I think back like right during the pandemic or like the year before the pandemic in 2019, the bubble happened. There was a select few teams that had their standings, and I think it was not every team made the bubble, just like the teams that were like in the playoff contention. Um, I think it was close to the end of the season, like COVID happened, and the NBA had to find a quick solution of how could we combine like basketball and safety and health. I know people are going to say players had ample time to rest up in between games. This is true, but
Yeah.
there's guidelines where if you left the bubble and then you have the quarantine. So Zion had to, I think, leave for Zion had to leave, I think, for family or like issues or whatever, or injury, I
I
think, or
think so.
whatever.
Yeah.
We all know what
Lemon pepper
not
Lou.
not Al Horford. I'm gonna say Al Horford now. I was gonna say lemon. You said lemon. Hell no.
Lemon pepper Lou. That's
Uh,
what I call him.
Pepper Lou. We got know Lou Williams went to the club. We got some Magic Wings or Magic City or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean, if you're a player in that time, like it's really on you what you did. I mean, obviously, if you had the right mind, you should have stayed in the bubble. But Phil Jackson has some strong kind of like comments about it. And it's kind of like ironic because he's an NBA coach, he's a legend in
Hmm.
that realm, and um, he was saying how let me see the quote. They had things. So what he's referencing is like a two part. Like I think it's like a two-part quote, then or one part quote, and they had another quote at the end. But he was saying how so at the time like players had like names on their back like justice or equality or um I don't know certain names on the back to represent like because all know in the Milwaukee shooting that
Hmm.
happened with
Yep.
I forget his name. I think James Blake or something like that in Kenosha, where the Bucks had the chance to I think play the Magic,
Yeah, I
and
think it
they
was that. Yeah.
protested. Um, and even LeBron was like on his podcast with Richard Jefferson. I think they're the On the Road show with Richard Jefferson and LeBron. He said that because he was a leader, like even though he's not in the or the NBA PA, he still has that stature of like, hey, if LeBron don't play, then no one plays because LeBron said, hey, we were about to leave the bubble. You know what I'm saying? They were like he had thoughts of leaving it, and um, so what Phil Jackson is saying, it says they had things on their back like Justice and funny thing, and a funny thing happened like Justice just went to the basket and equal opportunity. Oh, that's another name. Knocked him down. Jackson said, some of my grandkids thought it was this is from Yahoo Sports. Some of my grandkids thought it was pretty funny to play up those names. I couldn't watch that. It was trying to cater to an audience or trying to bring a certain audience to the game, he said. And they didn't know it was turning other people off. People want to see sports as non-political. Politics stays out of the game. It doesn't need to be there. Well, Phil Jackson, sir. Yes. Okay, you are right. Sports and politics is two totally separate things. One is strictly sports, and but nowadays you have we all know like the January 6th insurrection of the Capitol, right? That was during the NBA, kind of like that. I think it was during the NBA season that went on. Um, so he does have a point where you shouldn't really mix race or political things into, but it's in this day and age, it's hard to do that. But now,
He doesn't have a point to me, but I mean, I'll let you finish. You know.
well, as it comes to like, I mean, as well, for I guess, all right, in a sense, like this is a sports show, right?
Hmm.
It's not like CNN or like
Right.
Politico or Fox, right? It's doing
Right.
sports,
Yeah.
right? So that's where I'm kind of coming from, like where he has a point where it's like, okay, but brother, Phil Jackson, man, I respect you, brother, but this statement is wrong because don't you get it? Like Bill Russell, rest in peace.
Hmm.
He has dealt with more race. Wait, I mean he played in Boston, your favorite team. I mean, obviously you weren't around that time when that all that severity was going on, but you have Bill Russell
Hmm.
playing where the, the civil rights was going on, and to know that, and it comes back to the Kaepernick situations, kneeling down for what is right.
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick did not kneel because he hated the flag. He knelt down because he said it in the meeting. He said people are being oppressed. People of color are being oppressed by
Yep.
cops. Now, at the time, an officer, shot. I don't think he killed the guy in Milwaukee. He's thank God he's living in
Hmm.
Kenosha. Um, but Phil Jackson, man, you are. I wish we had like a one of those experts like, you are wrong in this situation because
Yep.
how how can you say that when you know it's tough times? We all saw. Was it what was the recent? Well, that was all black cops though. But remember what state was that in? Was that is that in the recent one? That
I
was
want to
in what?
say
In
Kentucky or
Kentucky.
Tennessee.
That wasn't the school. I'm talking about like the stop, the traffic stop, the black guy that got beat by all those black cops.
Yeah, I think that
It was
was.
like it was like recently
I think that was Kentucky or Tennessee. I don't know.
Kentucky.
They're starting to run together now. I couldn't. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you.
but when I saw this statement and I saw like the live interview, well, not the live interview, but like the highlights of the interview, like I kind of have lost a little bit of respect for like Phil Jackson because like he obviously doesn't take away what he did in the NBA as coaching and stuff, but like
Mhm.
you're wrong. This is not a time to say that in this time and age where yes, you want to try to stay away from political as much as you can, but you can't really coincide like are you like the two things. So Kyle, like you said, you don't have a point. So what do you tell me what's
All
going
right.
on,
So,
man? Like what?
so here's what I find interesting.
But like you might have to read the whole quote for yourself because that's part like that was like wasn't the whole thing. Let
You
me see if
said
I can
enough
find
that
any
I.
more.
I mean, you said enough that I get the
Oh,
general idea because
okay.
there's a bunch. Okay, go
There's
ahead. Go ahead.
more. I don't think it's a mystery. You need to read between the fine lines. Oh wait, that's Pippin's. Sorry. Um, yeah, my bad. That's a Pippin quote.
Okay. Well, it's funny. Well, one, Phil Jackson's 77 years old. He's set in his ways. That's probably how he feels. He's also not the only one who. There was plenty of people when the bubble's going on that came out on social media and would always say, "Oh, I turned on to watch a basketball game, not a political statement. The NBA's lost me." My response to all that was, "Deuces. Didn't need you anyway." I find it funny how you mentioned it. Kaepernick did his thing,
Oh, they
took
had
a
slogans.
knee. Other players joined
They
in.
had slogans on the floor on the baseline. It was
Yeah.
catering. It was trying to cater to it. This is like to the audience. They didn't know it was turning other people off. So yeah,
So
I didn't mean to cut
if
you
it
off. Yeah,
turns off the people who don't care about social justice, I got something to tell you. I could care less about what you think. These are players who are seeing what's going on around the world. They're allowed to have an opinion. If you don't like it, that's on you, not on them. And like I was saying, you brought up the Kaepernick thing. He took a knee. The people who wanted to pay attention knew why he was doing it.
and look, 2 years later, George Floyd happened.
Exactly. Um, a certain person who was in the White House as president decided to push himself into that story.
You can say
That
it.
made it.
Don't be scared. It's Trump. Trump said it.
I'm,
Trump
I
said
mean, I'm not scared. It's just that
it.
I just don't like
Hey,
the guy, so I'm like,
yeah,
I don't
it's
even want
all
to say his name.
good.
But it's like
Oh wow, all right. Yeah.
he's the one who made it political. So how come it works that way, but it can't work the other way? You know, he based his whole platform off of these athletes taking a knee. He said several things like, if I was running the league, I'd kick them out. I'd make sure guys stand up. And remember, there was the whole Villanueva thing with the Steelers, where because he has a military background, he almost felt conflicted because he wanted to be out there for the national anthem, but most of his teammates wanted to stay in the locker room, so that became a story. Look, nobody said, you know, race topics or social justice was supposed to be comfortable for everybody. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's whether or not you want to engage in that or you want to pull yourself away. Some people want to hide behind the fact like keep politics out of sports. You could very easily change the channel. You could stick to the sports that kind of steer clear of topics like that and enjoy your day. There's no reason that you need to tune into the NBA knowing what's going on. Like people knew, they announced before that the bubble, they were going to push this. So people knew that going in. So you can't tune into it and then go, oh, I don't want to watch this. You already knew. So look, Phil Jackson, like you said, great coach. I'm not going to take that away from him because
You know what? I might take a little bit away from him because I'm
not,
I'm not, but I'm gonna talk and then you're gonna. I mean,
yeah,
I'll let you finish.
because my thing is he's 77, so he may be coming from a place where
I'm surprised.
I don't know.
I'm surprised he said that. And I would tell you why after you say your
Phil Jackson
piece.
seems like a guy who doesn't care anymore. To be honest with you, I mean he took the Knicks job, did terrible at it. I don't think he cared one bit how people thought how he did in that position. He knows when he wants to get away, he can go to Montana or whatever. He can do whatever, go off the grid. I mean, I honestly don't know the last time I heard from Phil Jackson.
It's probably like during the last dance.
Right. So he's a guy who, when he wants to pull away, he can do it very easily.
Right.
So I feel like, look, I could probably give him credit for being honest. I'll give him that. What he said was, foolish, but at least he was, bold enough to put it out there. Because he also has some people who feel the way he does and are hiding behind it to try to fit in with everybody. Like, oh yeah, social justice, when they actually don't care about it. So it's cool to understand what side of the fence he's on. I still think this one way, track of mind people have about sports and politics, that's what I don't understand. It's like it's cool for certain aspects of it, but when it's about minorities and race, then it's a problem. If coaches want to talk about school shootings and stuff, you have sections of people who are like, oh, what are they talking about? They don't even know what they're talking about. It's not that big of a deal. So it's always like, as long as the topics that are being touched on, the majority, a lot of Trump's followers and people like that who have that mindset,
Right.
they have something to say about it. If it's other aspects that fit into their narrative, they cheer for those people. Because we saw the NASCAR race with the kid up there, the fans going, F you, Biden. He became a celebrity, even though he was indirectly involved with it, where they turned it into that other slogan I can't remember. But it, look, it's a world that we're in with athletes that feel more empowered to speak up, to react, and you just got to live with it. They have platforms, Snapchat, TikTok. There's plenty of platforms out there now. So it's going to be hard for you to, necessarily avoid it. Just live with it. Because we talked about race and stuff on here before, where I'm just like, look, just respect people's opinions. Not everybody's going to have the same opinion as you, but that also doesn't mean you have to vilify everybody who thinks differently than you.
Yeah, like
Just
the reason why. Like the reason why I said it was like before I said what I had to say, like I said it was ironic because first he was an NBA coach and he said he doesn't watch the NBA because of this. It's like it's ironic too because like he can't really talk because like he's coached some of the greatest black athletes of all time and made millions off of that. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. I mean, he kind of like made money off their sweat and blood and effort, and then you're gonna come out and say, that's because they had some social justice names on their back or on the court or on the backboards or anywhere. Like, I mean, to be honest, yes, basketball is competitive, but in my opinion, like the bubble was probably the most fun because it was just strictly basketball. Like obviously, yes, watching the crowd is awesome, and the actual crowd get into it is cool, but it's kind of like going to like a YMCA or like or just an open gym just playing ball, but you have the best players in the world. Yeah, obviously, okay, the COVID and everything messed that up with interaction, but I felt that like the players like did a good job of playing as hard as they could and doing everything they could to make the bubble work. And I think Adam Silver, I don't know all the numbers yet for like how they're as far as like COVID cases, but they're pretty low as far as after the turnaround. And like I felt it's kind of like funny and ironic how, well, not funny but ironic how Phil has coached some of the best black athletes in the world, and that's why I'm not gonna take away from because he coached some of the greats. But you need to show some respect, man, because some of these like he has made millions, and even Jalen Rose came back at him and kind of said what I said. He said, "You can't make this up." The same Phil Jackson that won championships with some of the greatest black athletes in the history of the game, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Rose said made millions on their backs and off their sweat equity. I mean, it's true. In this day and age, I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, I respect people's opinions and like you said, people come from different backgrounds of the world, have different views on race and social justice and stuff, and that's fine. But like, you don't come out and say you don't watch basketball because of that, and your grandkids thought it was funny. I mean, you don't want when your grandkids get to a certain age. I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but I know like once you get to like a certain age of your grandkids, you want to have your grandkids, when they get to that age, have some respect. Like you don't want to, like you don't want to teach your kids or your grandkids, hey, disrespect this one race or respect this one cause, or you want them to be open. That's why I respect Kyrie in a sense, where because I know Kyrie has his certain things, but he with the whole Amazon thing, but the other things like he's donated money to certain organizations with the committees in Brooklyn. He has a strong stance on race and everything. Like that's okay, but when it comes to like this, like talking down on the NBA, I'm not gonna watch it because of this. Like you said, there's freaking Nickelodeon to watch. There's CNN to watch. There's MTV to watch. There's freaking Netflix to watch. But I
Go
mean,
watch Fox
it kind of
Sports, pop some popcorn, have a party.
it kind of irked me when I saw the comments. I don't know if you saw the comments like before I mentioned that to you on the text message, but like, I mean, I can
Yeah,
tell
I
you were
did.
kind of like,
I get the whole because I heard it when the bubble happened. It seemed like every day you'd read something from somebody like, "Look, I'm completely off the NBA." There's actually people now who still will be like, um, "Forget the NBA. I don't watch it. Haven't watched it in years. Don't plan on going back to it because probably out of all the leagues, that's the one league where the players probably speak up the most." And like
or
I
had the
said, to
more
some
had more
people,
freedom, yeah, too, yeah, yeah,
some people they don't want these athletes out here speaking like they work for CNN. They
right,
want, they want the athletes from back in the day, meathead, jock, all that kind of stereotypes that athletes had. That's what people love. They just go out there, they played, they went home, cool. Not today. They'll they'll have a pre-game press conference. They'll speak on things. Play the game. They'll have a post-game press conference. Speak on issues. And as I said, yes, they're athletes. Number one, well, actually, above being an athlete, they are a functioning member of society. So anything that happens within society is fair game for them to talk about.
they're involved,
Because
yeah,
if LeBron wants to go on a 20-minute tirade about school shootings, he's got kids. He's not just an athlete; he's a dad. He's
right.
allowed to feel some type of way about that. And the I don't know why we got to a point where it's like these guys can't talk. Because I know you talked about before. I mean, probably not on the show, but way back where it's like the whole shut up and dribble thing.
Oh
Some
yeah, with
people
the whole
heard,
LeBron, yeah,
some people heard that and was like, "Yes, she was right to say that," and other people were just like, "Are you serious? What are you talking about?" As long as they're not out here, putting bounties on people with their speech, what's the issue? They're not doing anything wrong.
right.
They're just voicing their opinion.
Yeah, that whole shut up and dribble, that was some bull crap, man. Like that whole like, it's kind of like
Yeah,
just shut up and play.
that lady became a celebrity amongst certain pockets of the country because that's the way they felt as well.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like that's kind of like that comment that he made kind of irked me in a way that's like, damn, like show some respect, man, because like, come on, like,
Some people are afraid of what they don't understand.
and I'm shocked because Phil Jackson's kind of quiet, like you say, he's kind of like that low key kind of like the last time I
Yeah,
seen him was probably in the Last Dance, and like he's probably I don't know where he lives at now, probably
he
L.A.
does an
somewhere or whatever.
incredible job hiding. I don't
He
know. I
does.
don't know how a guy who coached Michael Jordan, Kobe, and Shaq finds a way to
But
completely
Jordan's kind of, I
disappear.
mean, Jordan's quiet. I mean, all the greats are kind of quiet. Like Jordan's kind of secretive a little bit, even if he's the owner of the Charlotte. But he's kind of like low key. Like I
Yeah,
mean, last time we seen him on TV was probably the last dance. Prior to that, maybe
or
Space
probably with
Jam,
some random camera
okay,
shot watching the
or
Hornets
some
play and
like
him being
commercial.
frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good point. Yeah.
Carl Malone. I mean, Malone. He's kind of quiet until that whole
I
case came up.
When he popped up All Star Weekend, I was shocked. I hadn't heard his name or seen him since probably that Lakers run. He tried to win a ring with them but got hurt. But after that, he completely disappeared. Which, I mean, if you're living in Utah or something, he's like a farmer type guy. I guess it's pretty easy to kind of keep to yourself at that point. But look, Phil
Yeah.
Jackson's gonna feel the way he does. There's no changing that. I mean, yeah, he's probably getting a lot of hate from people. I'm sure he'll wake up tomorrow and he'll feel fine being Phil Jackson.
Right. Right. Um. So I guess it's just on the NBA still. I mean, the playoffs are in full swing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, LA is up 2-1 or 3-1, or I think they're
2-1. Yes, it's
two
2
to
to one.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics, I think they play like I think right now. I think they're playing right now against the Hawks.
Yeah.
Um, Knicks are up 3-1 against the Cavs. So tell me, like, what's your, I guess, what is your surprise team or the team that you're shocked about that's kind of like doing good like right now? I go first. I
Um,
think it's the Knicks because obviously I knew.
I'm not that shocked by that because I've always said I think Cleveland is probably a year away. Also,
Well, they were saying
I'm
how
also
Donovan
not.
Mitchell, he was a guy, and like all
I
that, and Mobley and all the Allen had that the good backcourt. I
hmm
mean, the whole panel on the NBA Today show before the game was like, well, Stephen A. picked the Knicks, of course, that's his team, but then the whole panel picked
Stephen A's a fraud
Cavs.
with that too, though, because Stephen A was real upset when the Knicks didn't get Donovan Mitchell, and he used to say all year, "Watch, they're gonna face each other in the playoffs, and watch the Cavs beat them and get real upset." Now they're up 3-1, and he's Mister Nick. But okay, but
Well, I think
my thing
he's always
is,
been. I think he's always been a Knicks fan,
no,
though.
he's been a Knicks fan, but he likes to get upset with the Knicks when they don't get, like, he was upset when they didn't get LeBron. He was upset when, they only got Amari Stoudemire and all that. But he was really upset with the Donovan Mitchell one because, Mitchell
I
wanted to
thought he
be
was.
a Knick and all that.
I thought he was going to be. I thought. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I thought he was going to go to the Knicks. I thought it was leaning up to that. Cavs. I was like surprised by that team.
Like, those Jazz teams always fell short, and it looks like this Cavs team's going to fall short. Maybe Mitchell is, I don't know if I should say he's like a number two, but maybe he's a 1B and you need another guy with him. Just putting Mitchell in Cleveland with Garland, Allen, Mobley, and stuff like that, clearly it's not good enough unless they somehow turn it around and win three straight against the Knicks. But, if they lose to the Knicks, I wouldn't have picked Cleveland against Boston. I wouldn't have picked them against Milwaukee. Philly would have been a challenge as well. So I think Cleveland's kind of a 5-6 seed with Donovan Mitchell. For I guess for the futility that Cleveland had all those years post LeBron, I think it's fine right now for Cleveland, but they're gonna have to make some moves to try to improve that team. Um, it's been like a lot of interesting series because, I mean, you and Lakers Nation love the fact when Golden State was down 2-0.
What do you mean? You're a Lakers fan too, right?
I told y'all I joined sabotage and it's not working right now, but I'm not giving up. Because Sacramento, they took their two games at home and they looked impressive. Golden State's turned around now, won their two games at Golden State. Yes, Golden State struggles on the road. In a 7-game series, though, you technically only have to win one road game. If you're telling me Golden State can't win a road game, then we got problems. So I still think that series is going to go 7. It's
Oh,
been
the Kings
wildly
and
entertaining.
Warriors. Yeah,
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 so
that game was
I've
crazy
been
today.
all in on that. Yeah, I've been all in on that series. I love that series. Um, but yeah, so I guess going to the Laker Nation thing. Yeah, I spoke well about the Lakers for about 5 minutes. Freddie lost his mind because I said I'm not a hater. I'm realistic. So I picked Memphis going in, but I saw from game one, I saw a lot of troubling things. We're still seeing it. Um, shout out to Ja though for coming back, dropping 40 last night.
For like
Did
one
not
hand,
see
yeah.
that coming.
Yeah.
He was hitting threes as well, which I said if that's the one aspect of his game that he became like a 35% 3-point shooter, he'd probably be unstoppable on offense. But the Dylan Brooks aspect where he's trying to be the villain of the NBA, which he's succeeding at because there's a lot of people that don't like him. I think Memphis as a whole is trying to portray themselves as, grimy, tough, little dirty. And, if they want to be that, then they need to wear it. They can't try to be like that and then people ask them about it, be like, oh, no, we're just misunderstood. Embrace it or don't do it. I will say, I know this was a big thing in the group chat. The Dylan Brooks play was not a flagrant two. I
Yeah,
I could get down with a flagrant one, cool, but there was no way that was a flagrant two.
yeah. At first glance, I thought it was a flagrant two, but then I look back on it, it was like a flagrant one, at
Yeah,
least.
and the league was right to not suspend him. I think that would have been making it worse if they suspended him for the next game.
Well, did they suspend Harden though, or no? For the one
I
game?
don't think so.
Because,
I
like
don't
you
think they
said,
did.
because you made a good
Well, I
point
mean
in the
that
chat.
series is over, so I don't even think people
Oh, I
care
forgot.
anymore
Oh
about that one.
shit, it's over. Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they swept him. I mean, I gave Brooklyn
Mm,
hopes of winning a game, but they couldn't even do that. But I still think they're in a fine position minus KD and all that. They just need to bring in another alpha guy. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
that play from Dylan Brooks, LeBron crossed over. It looked like Brooks thought he was going to bring it in front. He went behind the back and he hit him. LeBron did his thing, rolling around the floor, hand over the face. We've seen it. We've seen it. The minute I saw him go down, I was like, "Here we go. He's gonna get ejected." It was bound to happen, and
but
it
I
did.
know it is a groin shot. Like you don't want to hit nobody. But he wasn't trying to. I don't know. Who knows? Dylan Brooks. I don't know. I mean, I know he in that play.
As
He
bad as
probably
people
wasn't.
felt about the Harden one seemed
I didn't
worse
even.
because
Yeah,
Harden had
that.
the ball, like jab step, and just went like that. What was the purpose of that? Dylan Brooks was guarding him, stuck his hand out like,
So you bring up a good point, Kyle. Thank you for bringing this up because like, how do you feel about? Do you think it's fair that okay? It's like for like Draymond Green, right? He has a history
mm-hmm,
of so the 2016 LeBron James kick to the groin. Do you think it's fair, like in this day and age of NBA, to like for the league to go like even if it happened like 5 years ago, right? Is it fair for the NBA to go back and look at hey, like because the NBA has a thing where it's like, and now it's like you get like a certain amount of text or whatever
mm-hmm,
flagrant you, then you're suspended for one or whatever 2 games.
mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you think it's like fair for like play or the NBA? I want to say like to like target players, but like kind of like a Draymond Green, like a Dylan Brooks, like who?
Players definitely have reputations. Yes, it's
Yes,
a
yes. Do
thing.
you think it's fair for like because Draymond even said it. I don't think he had a podcast yet at the time, but he think he said in the press conference that if he wasn't suspended that one game during that finals, like they would have won that championship that year. So like, do you think that?
I do
Do
agree with
you
that.
because like do you think that the NBA should base that off a reputation? I mean I do agree that they
That's
should like
that's the
I do
human element of refs.
I
Some
mean
of them take
I
it
do
on the
agree
stuff
that like they
personally.
should yeah like I do agree that they should keep like a number for each player like
Mm-hmm.
if you do a flagrant whatever like do you think that was a flagrant too when he stepped on Sabonis's chest right that was do you think he meant to do that or because he grabbed the dude's
I didn't
ankle.
think it was a flagrant two for that either.
But I mean, see now, if Sabonis didn't grab the ankle, then it would be a flagrant too.
Yeah,
But
because then it'd be like, what are you doing? But since he grabbed him, I'm like, I can see you give him a tech,
well, I think he got a
flagrant
flagrant. I
one.
think I got a flagrant one. Sabonis or a technical for that. I don't know. I think
Yes, one's got a tech for grabbing his leg, which he probably should because, let's
that's
say
still
he
a
grabbed
dangerous.
it,
That's still a dangerous
twisted
play.
his leg, Green could have rolled his ankle or something. It was just unnecessary. And for that aspect,
Do you
Sabonis got
think
the
players
flagrant
are
one.
going to take advantage of that, or like reputation, like Draymond Green? Like, so you have the Patrick Beverleys of the world, you had the Dylan Brooks, you had the Draymond Greens, players who don't really put up numbers, but they're players that really
They have to toe the line. That's the only reason why they're in the league.
right.
Well, that's their
And
biggest asset to being in the league. They
like, do you
they play
think
close to
players
the
like that
line.
try to push the rest of boundaries like that? Like, do you think it's Draymond's intention every game to get a technical or flagrant? Because I mean, he had the league on notice. Oh, your audio kind of cut out a little bit.
Of mine, you said my audio cut out.
Oh, now it's better. I don't. It keeps on. Oh, yeah, it's better now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there's several instances where Draymond will kind of go overboard to get a technical to fire his team up. that's fine. Everybody does that from time to time,
Right.
but there are sometimes, well, maybe not even Draymond, because Draymond actually, for as much stuff and antics that he does, he kind of gets a long leash at times with some of these refs. For what he did last year in the finals against the Celtics, he should have been kicked out of like three of them games, but the refs let him do it.
What do you do? I forgot. I didn't like during the finals.
He did stuff to like Jalen Brown. He did stuff to Smart, Grant Williams. I remember the Jalen Brown one. Like Jalen Brown went down on the baseline, and Green like purposely held him down so he couldn't get back into the play. And
Oh
I
wow.
think Jalen Brown kind of looked at him and then got up, and the two of them got face to face or something like that. But he was just going wild in that series. But I've seen um, Jason Tatum is one. He kind of had a reputation going into this year of complaining a lot. And there were several games where he would just give a ref a look and he get a technical foul for it.
Oh yeah,
And
like
I'm
oh
like,
I
that's
forgot.
clearly
Yeah.
off reputation. They're trying to tell him, we don't want you complaining anymore, so we're just going to tee you up. He kind of backed off from it. I think stuff like
Yeah.
that, if you want to do it every once in a while, fine. But if it becomes like a regular thing where, because a lot of players understand when certain refs are playing that they're in trouble because they might get a tech because this ref is a little bit more sensitive than that ref. That should not be part of the NBA game plan. Like, I can't. Joey Crawford was a referee who didn't care. He would throw out, you know, star players in front of the home fans and get booed for it, but he did his job. I think now a lot of fans are like afraid to upset the home crowd, so they'll do stuff to make sure that they stay on their good side. And I'm like, you shouldn't ref that way. But I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is with referees. I think some players have found a way to kind of play the game with them. Other ones at times they go too far and they get caught. But I mean, I don't think you can necessarily fix that in any way.
Right. Right. It's just feel like yeah, the playoffs has been pretty good. I mean, I know it's high intensity basketball, like in the playoffs, like as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, so the Lakers, they're up 2-1. I think the LA took the first game. John Moran injured his wrist in the first game, missed the second game, um, and then they did Grizzlies take back game one, or did they
Yeah,
win
Grizzlies
two
won
games
game
in?
two.
Oh, got you,
It's gone back and forth. So Lakers got one, Grizzlies won two, Lakers won three.
got you. So the Dylan Brooks, like poking the bear, um, saying
I
whatever he
mean,
had to
all he
say.
said was LeBron is old. LeBron is old.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but
Not like he called him. I don't know. Not like he called him Ben Simmons or something. That's poking the bear. He said he's old.
I mean, I guess he has a point, but I mean, Dylan Brooks is like one of those players that you hate, but you love to have on the team to like get get you hyped up, like kind of like a Draymond Green, kind of like to get people electrified. Um, but yeah, I mean, like the Knicks are up 3-1. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really expect them to be up 3-1. I mean, I know they're young and I know not Duncan Robinson, Mr. Robinson. I know he was hurt in the playoffs a couple times, like in the past couple years. So that brings them some versatility on the rebounding.
Yep.
Randall, I don't know what the hell is going on with him. Like he be throwing up bullshit ass shots.
This is Julius Randle.
I
It's
hope his
just
kid.
some people
I hope his
fail to
kid's not in the.
remember that.
I hope his kid and wife is not in the audience because remember during the All Star game, like his kid was like made the face to him, like.
That's that's Julius Randle. That's why
But he made some. I guess some. I guess he can
I'm
some
so
lucky
torn
ass.
on that. I don't
I guess
know.
he made some lucky turnover and some turnaround shots. I guess some Hail Mary shots. But
Yeah, some nights he just
um,
has it and you just give it to him, but other nights where it's like he wants to take those shots, I'm fine letting him shoot those.
right. But yeah, I mean that was a good game today. I feel like every time. Donovan Mitchell touched the ball, he's either getting it stripped or he's getting it poked out and turn the ball over,
This
left
this
and
is
right.
Utah Donovan Mitchell all over again.
So I know Darius Garland tried to he was pretty good today.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, it was kind of close all game. And then in the fourth quarter, I guess in the or late third quarter, early fourth, the Knicks started to pull away. Um, but now, I mean, they either had to go against I think Miami or Milwaukee, right, in the next round. That's,
Yes,
I mean, barring Giannis come back, I mean, I would say Giannis. If they're being
Giannis will be
too
back. He'll be back.
well, he'll be
He's
back. But
just
what if
waiting.
he?
He's just waiting.
Well, if he comes back, yeah, I mean, they still gotta stay cautious because that back, man. I mean, it's kind of like,
Giannis
I mean, no, I'm
is
not. I mean,
literally.
I'm not really worried about Giannis at all. I'm just saying, like, just like gotta be cautious still, with that back.
eh,
Now with the Lakers, I'm confused as to why the Lakers signed Tristan Thompson.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that name up. I was gonna bring it up, but
Uh, no, because because like one time he's on NBA with TNT or ESPN with Malika Andrews and the ladies,
hmm
and then one day he's on in purple and
getting a
gold
little
on
too
on the
close,
bench.
the ladies. Yeah,
Oh, well, I thought that was just Jalen Rose. I thought he
that's
apparently he
all.
touched his Malika's underarm or whatever. I don't know.
That clip is wild. I've seen it like
Wait,
8 times. I'm like,
he didn't even do anything. He was
his
just
hand's
like
like on
kind
her
of being
shoulder. Why
friendly.
did she go get your finger under my armpit? And then I was like, you
Dylan
just
was
go
like,
around
"What?"
sticking your finger in people's armpits? Like, that's your thing? Like, what?
Yo, get your boy Zion over here, yo. Like, bro.
That is wild. Just go around sticking your okay. Hey, Jalen
But
Rose, look, it's
I
your
don't think
world,
it,
man.
but he had his hand on his shoulder, like you said. I don't think
Yeah,
it was in a. But
he's
um,
still on the network, so it can't be that big of a deal.
who
I mean,
Jalen
maybe they
Rose?
won't. Yeah, maybe they won't work together for a while, but he's still on ESPN.
Yeah, but like I don't know why they because I've assumed. I mean, I know Rory is doing good. Hashimura, that was a great signing by them, but I'm confused as to why like they signed Tristan. I know that
I know why.
I, I know they played with LeBron, or he played with LeBron before.
That's why. That's it.
But how come they don't play him like on the bench or like
Would
in
you play
this?
him?
Huh?
Would you play him?
I mean, if AD was in foul trouble or one of the key players, I mean, yeah, you can still give boards.
I'd rather put Lonnie Walker down there and take my chances.
Lonnie
No,
Walker in the
I'm
center.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, I
I'm
mean,
about to
look,
say, bro.
Tristan Thompson can grab rebounds. That's what he can do. Offensively, bit of a mess. Free throw shooting, bit of a mess. I feel like he's probably break glass in case of emergency type. Like if, because I mean, you still have Gabriel. They'd probably turn to Gabriel before Tristan Thompson. Like Thompson, if Thompson's playing, AD probably fouled out early, or the game's out of hand and they're just throwing him out there. I think that's the only time you see Tristan Thompson in the playoffs. Plus, he does all right. I don't know how this is gonna come across to you Laker fans, but Lakers got a lot of corny dudes on the team, and Tristan Thompson's pretty corny too. But because the whole ice in the vein celebration that like 4 or 5 of them were doing when Schroeder hit the shot in the playing game,
That was a tough shot though.
I
That was.
wanted to turn my TV off.
Oh, they're doing
I,
like the
number
three.
one, that's D'Angelo Russell's thing. Y'all
Well,
can't
yeah,
be doing that.
yeah, that's Russell's. Yeah.
And Dennis Schroeder, you're the last one to be doing that. But whatever. Um,
Let the Lakers have their shine, man. That was a playing game. Like,
I hope it lasts a couple more games. Memphis, Memphis, if John Morant's watching, win 3 straight. End it. I can't take it. If the Lakers win this round, it's going to be at least 4 more games of Lakers fans saying, oh, we're going to shock the world. I can't. I can't take it. I can't.
I mean,
End it.
well, whoever advances, who do they play next? The
They would
Warriors, I
play,
think. The Warriors or Kings.
yes.
That could
I
be an
mean,
interesting series. Either
one, if
way.
you're a Grizzlies fan, the fact that you'd have to go Lakers first, a team that you created this hatred against, then to Golden State, who you have hatred for based off of last year. That's a lot of emotion. But um, I mean, look, I'll give the Lakers credit for games 1 and 3. They looked really good. Game
Yeah, like,
two, which is the one that they probably like a lot of Lakers fans thought game two they were going to win when they knew Morant was going to play.
yeah.
They didn't play that well. So now we're going to see game.
Well, they said that they played better without Morant on the floor. They kind of did.
No, they don't. You take Morant off the floor, you have nobody who can break down defenses. You have nobody that's a real threat, like at the rim. I mean, Bane kind of gets into the lane every once in a while, but he's more of a perimeter guy. Jaren Jackson sometimes just looks awkward in the paint.
Yeah,
I don't know if I think somebody probably needs to get with him to learn low post moves necessarily, but like his dribble is like really loose
it's kind
in
of
the paint.
yeah, it is.
He's always getting stripped. It's like gotta fix that. And then
He's more like a he reminds me of like a Finney Smith, like someone who like hangs out the arc, kind of like that stretch big.
But Jaren Jackson needs to be down low.
Problem is, he has no choice because Adams is out.
Stop dribbling. You are putting the ball way too high. Guards will just come down and take it.
Well, you know what, Kyle? I am saying, walk on, man. Be the big man now.
80 don't want me.
Huh?
I'll take 80 out to the perimeter all day. 80 doesn't want to guard me on the perimeter. You don't want it.
I still haven't seen your shot, man. Like you I think you're bullshitting now.
I guarantee you I'm not, but I can shoot from the perimeter.
I want to see your shot, man. I'm curious.
But next time I go to a court, I will record it. I haven't been in a while, but
like you said that the last episode, and I haven't seen it.
And I haven't gone to the court. When I go, I will record it.
Well, I guess when you say gym, I meant I thought you mean like court gym, like at LA Fitness, whatever. But
if I go anywhere that has a basketball hoop, I will record my shot.
You don't have a basketball hoop at your house?
No.
Oh, you kind of had to, I thought you did. like you had to think about that. You're like, no. I don't.
Nope.
Yeah, like I used to have one, but we had to move houses.
If I did, I'd be hustling people in the neighborhood.
Oh man,
one-on-one.
But I mean, like anything we missed. I mean, as far as playoff matchups, I know you got the Nuggets. They're 3-0, but probably ended tonight after this Hawks Celtics game. I mean, Jokic is doing his thing. When is the Oh, now I wanted to ask you because since Brogdon he got the sixth man of the year, right?
Rightfully.
I think you know where I'm going with this. Maybe not. But people on Twitter, TikTok have said that the Emmanuel quickly should have got it.
No. I saw that on Twitter, and I told people, no. For what? One, Brogdon averaged more points. Brogdon played every game off the bench. Quickly actually started a few games. Brogdon is just a better player. I think the problem is Brogdon
what quickly brings for the what quickly brings to the Knicks? I mean, off the second unit. He brings passing, shooting, scoring.
Literally everything plays. Brogdon does.
So I think Ty said that anybody who was in that conversation. He had a point that he was like anybody who was in that category. There's no argument of who could have won it.
Brogdon does all of that and averaged more points.
Okay.
They got it right. Sorry, Emmanuel, quickly. Maybe next year. It was Brogdon. The only person I thought they might have given it to was Portis, but I think Portis kind of missed a lot of games down the stretch. Maybe that took him out, but Brogdon was the guy. appreciate you for trying quickly.
I mean, quickly, he still had a good year though.
Yeah, he deserved votes. He didn't deserve to win.
So who do you think would be their next runner-up behind Malcolm if Malcolm didn't win it? Who do you think would have won it?
I'm fine if quickly came second. Because quickly, yes, he had a good year. I thought, like I said, Portis. I think Portis missed like a good amount of games like a few weeks ago. Maybe that took him out of the running. But I thought it was Brogdon, quickly, or Portis. Those are the top three to me.
Oh yeah, appreciate this. I appreciate this description, Steve. Thank you. I don't know if you see that on the screen too. It just popped up.
Mm-mm.
Maybe it was just me. Thank you for the subscription, Steve. I appreciate that, my brother. Um, you just subscribe to the channel,
Okay.
but yeah,
Oh, is that Steve Roth?
I I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. Kind of because I know he's a guy who follows me on Twitter. I think I shared this on Twitter. He might have seen it there and subscribed.
Oh, Steve Roth, yeah.
That's the guy who like recently followed me on Twitter. So yeah, appreciate that, Steve.
Definitely. Wait, like he's not part of the network, right? A part of the sports. Is just a random fan, random supporter.
I think he's like trying to get on the network or something.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the subscription, Steve. Man, tell your share the show out, man. I appreciate that. Um, any other matchups? I mean, I know we got the your current series, Hawks and Celtics. Celtics or Hawks stole a game from last game, beat the
I gave it to
Celtics.
him. I gave it to him.
Um, Lakers, Grizzlies. I mean, Clippers, Suns. That's another good series going on right
Yeah.
now. I mean, in Booker doing his thing, Kevin Durant doing his thing, Kawhi. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he's hurt or it's just kind of like
I feel like Kawhi's probably always hurt. To be honest with you, I just think he's another guy whose body probably has just robbed him of a great career. Well, I can't say it because he still had a great career, but probably robbed him of a better career. We knew coming into the league, there was some whispers about him having like arthritic knees and all that. Maybe he's at that point where his knees are just continuously going to be a problem. He's going to have to manage it really well, which is probably why when people are like, Kawhi needs to play more, and you ask him, he'll be like, I only care about the playoffs. I kind of understand why. His body only has so many games in him, and he doesn't want to waste it just for a regular season. It's kind of a terrible mentality to have and be open about it, but the Clippers didn't bring him there to win games in the regular season. They brought him there to win a title because Steve Ballmer, if the Clippers ever won a title, look out for that man. Like he may jump in a hot air balloon, throw money down. That guy would lose his mind if the Clippers ever won a title. So, unfortunately, I just think he's always going to be hobbled.
yeah. I mean, he was going off for a couple had a couple. I think games 1 and 2. Then he got hurt.
Yeah.
But that's another good series to watch out for. I think it's 2-2, right? Side up.
Is it? Where are the Suns ahead? Hold on, let me see. I actually have it right here. Suns standings playoffs. Is it? It might be 2-2.
Because I know Clippers they were up 2, or was it like 1? They split. I think Clippers won game 1.
Yes.
No, I think Clippers are down 3-1. To be
I was
honest,
about to say, I feel like the Suns kind of won every game after game 1.
because Is that like an NBA like live NBA like bracket whatever?
Yeah, I mean NBA.com is probably the best place to go. All right, so let me see. The next game is Tuesday. Yeah, it's 3-1 Phoenix. Yeah.
3-1 Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say, I feel like ever since the Clippers won game one, I feel like it's been all Phoenix since then.
Right. Like I'm on the NBA site. It's just they have like the plan. They have like the different seating. They don't have the who's winning each. Like they don't have like the.
They should, because I feel like I've gone there. Hold on. Probably have to like search around a little bit.
Yeah. So my actually Miami's up. Miami's up. They're up two
Yeah, mine
one.
was up too. Yep.
Okay, so it's updated. Cleveland Knicks are down or up 3-1. Phoenix or not Phoenix. I mean Philly. They're advanced. Celtics 2-1. Atlanta. Uh, Memphis or
Nuggets up 3-0.
Nuggets 3-0. Suns 3-1. Yep. Kings are 2-2, and then Grizzlies are Lakers are 2-1. So yep.
Looks like Kings Warriors might be the only one that goes 7 games.
What do you think? Who do you think wins the Lakers and Grizzlies series?
I picked the Grizzlies before the series. I'm gonna stick with it, although I feel very shaky about that pick. Um,
Don't poke the bear, Kyle. Don't poke the Lakers, man.
Scared of LA
You better be,
because
man. Because if
I've said
AD's
this before. When they won Game One, I said, "Show me what you got in Game Two." They came out
it,
flat.
is this
Now, after
next
that
is this
performance in
next
Game
game in
Three,
is this
it's
next
in
game in
LA.
LA?
It's in LA. So Game Four, do not let Memphis win that game, because then that just shows me the same inconsistencies that they had during the regular season are following them in the playoffs.
So basically, they can end it. If the Lakers win
They
like
have a shot to
Monday
end it Game
in
Five in
in in,
Memphis.
in Memphis.
Yes. If they lose there, at least they have Game Six back in LA.
Right.
If it goes to 7
What's up,
in
Zach?
Memphis, I think LA would be in trouble. I don't know if I would
Gotcha,
trust
gotcha.
them the way this series is going to win a Game 7 in Memphis, but I mean, okay, so because looking at it, Jaren Jackson is struggling with AD. That's just what it is right now. If Jaren Jackson somehow turns that around, I'd feel better about Memphis. I just don't see it. Um, I think Kennard needs to get going because he's somebody looking at this series. I thought he was a guy who'd be able to get open threes and knock them down. Well, I mean, I can't really put it on him last game because everybody was bricking in the first half for Memphis. Luckily, all that game meant for all the embarrassment of what they have like 9 points in the first quarter. It was just one game. Game 4 is completely different. So if you are a Memphis fan, um, look at
Doug
look at
is
look at
Doug is
the end.
hilarious, man. I gotta read his message, man. He's like, speaking of the Dylan Brooks situation, he was like, first of all, because it's kind of odd that Brooks was talking all that shit to LeBron, and then when it comes when the Lakers beat the Grizzlies the other night, like he didn't want to talk to the media, and Douglas was like, first of all, Brooks is done. All it took was a few days for him to talk, then don't want to talk. He's in his own head. Secondly, I appreciate him because he has ticked us off. Now, there will be on vacation in a few days. There are some bears that you just don't poke when you're on the passenger side of the car instead of the driver's, which is job. Brooks Brooks Mouth is all NBA. His play is G League.
But let's be honest though. He talked about LeBron. The MVP of Game 3 was AD to me. It's not like LeBron dropped 40 or 50. It was AD. So I'm not mad at Dylan Brooks necessarily. So if you're going to tell me that him talking about LeBron poked the bear of Anthony Davis, that's not on Dylan Brooks because Dylan Brooks was talking to LeBron. AD, that problem, that's on Jaren Jackson. Now, Jaren Jackson's supposed to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. This is your moment to shine. And so far, you've been failing. And if you can't figure this out, I just don't see how Memphis wins this series unless, Ja drops 40 each game from here on out. Then they have a chance. I will say, like, the end of the fourth quarter when Memphis really made it interesting, if you're a Grizzlies fan, you could be optimistic by that because the way that game started, it looked like that was going to be like a 40-point blowout. But they made it interesting late. That's what I'm holding on to as somebody who picked Memphis. I think I picked Memphis in 7 games. And to be honest with you, it could still go that way. The first quarter of game 4 will tell me a lot about this series. If the Lakers come out and have another performance like game 3, this series will be over in probably 5. If Memphis comes out and plays really well, I think it could go 6-7 games. Oh, you're muted.
My bad. I mean, we're come up on like almost 2 hours. Oh, I guess it's 2 hours almost. But we can definitely talk about this last thing, and then we can move on to like the NFL and like the. I guess next we can talk about the fight, and then I guess end it with the NFL draft and everything. But like Dylan Brooks did come out and say that he hates how, because like he's a villain, I guess, in the NBA right now. Like he's one of the villains, like Draymond Green, and he said that like the media and the fans create a whole different persona of him that factored into the game 3. But I mean, even Jory Williams in the group chat said that like I don't get where he's coming from when he opens his mouth.
Well, she's also a Lakers fan as well.
Is she a Laker fan too? I
I
didn't know
was
that.
shocked by that. She actually is one. For some reason, I thought she was a Hawks fan because she's in Atlanta, but she's a Lakers fan.
I thought she was a there's no Tennessee team in the NBA.
Yeah, she's a Titans fan for football.
Yeah, that's kind of threw me off with the NBA.
Throw me off too. Yeah, because Freddie one time was like, my Lakers family, and he mentioned Jory, and I was like, Jory's a Lakers fan, and she was like, yep, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have her on the show. I think next week, sometime or maybe in 2 weeks. She wants to come on the show.
Y'all see what they trying to do to me? The one Celtics fan.
Well, I didn't even think about that because I wanted her on.
I'm just
I want her on because I want her to talk about the whole the Angel Reese thing because she has a lot of things to say about that from the women's perspective. So I mean I know it happened a long time ago, like well, not a long time ago, but a couple weeks ago. But real quick,
I did a TikTok on that. It was such a stupid subject, but
yeah. I mean, real quick. Oh yeah, for sure. Real quick, talk about the fight. I know you didn't watch the fight yesterday, but for all the viewers who didn't see it, Gervonte Tank Davis from Baltimore, Maryland, representing the 410-443, just like me. He fought Ryan Garcia in a super fight. There was no belt involved. I think it was just for bragging rights. I mean, I was excited for this fight. I was hyped for it. A lot of crap talking, which that's all for promotion and stuff. And
I did see the Sports Center back and forth with the two of them.
Yeah, kind he was like, he was like, I'm gonna. I think John. He was like, I'm gonna come to your room. He was like, come to my room. Like, I guess we're in the same hotel. I think whatever. Because apparently Ryan Garcia kind of blamed or not blamed, kind of like, because like Gervonte, I guess him and his camp were spying on them in their gym to see what they were doing.
I like
and
the whole
Ryan
rehydration thing or something.
Yeah. What is what is that? Is it like a certain amount of weight you have to be at or whatever?
I think it's something where you'll see boxers cut a lot of weight just to make weight for the weigh-in, and then after that they'll rehydrate, gain some weight after it, because technically all you do is make weight at the weigh-in. After that you can kind of do what you want. So I guess for
at the weigh-in, if
I
you're
think
like
Tank was like,
one,
if you cut weight to make the weigh-in, that's what you're fighting me at. I don't want you blowing up like 5, 6 pounds coming into the fight a little bit heavier. I believe that's what it is. I'm not gonna say I'm like the biggest, boxing fan. Like I'll watch boxing, but I think that's
well,
what it
apparently
actually.
it's beneficial for both fighters because it's fair. So I don't see what the pro problem with this thing. Oh, how like it was rehydration. If if there was no rehydration clause, Ryan would have won. I mean, to be honest, it's I think it's
I,
fair game because both
you watch
both
enough boxing, you get a boxer who loses, they will come up with every excuse in the book.
yeah,
Like
and people were
everyone.
saying the fight was rigged. I mean, there was stopped at 7 rounds. To be honest, I thought that it wasn't rigged because one, I think that knockdown that he got against Ryan Garcia in the second round kind of stunned him a little bit, and then seventh round, I mean, even Lamar Jackson, like I think he responded to a fan and he was like, "Oh, it was rigged." And Lamar like subtweeted and tweeted him. He was like, "Imagine you getting hit by Gervonte Davis in the liver area because it happened so quick. I thought it was a punch that went up high. You know what I'm saying? And, like he got it like ducked, kind of like, and then it was a good tactic. And there's something like, hey, why didn't Ryan Garcia get up and continue? Like, okay, imagine this, you getting hit in the liver as hard as you can. Not just like me hitting the Kyle one punch just for the hell of it. I'm saying just like if I'm really pissed at Kyle and we're in a boxing fight and I hit you right in that liver, like you ain't coming back up. You know what I'm saying? And he got up, but he did. He was like, and Davis was like, he was playing mind game. He was like telling them, hey, get up. He was like, nah, I can't.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, people, I get it. People wanted to go the distance, and I think he even called it. Gervonte, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna knock him out or knock him down in 7 rounds." I think he's talking to Brandon Marshall. I think in an interview or whatever. Because some high profile celebrities had Gervonte winning in the 7th round, and that's why they can't. But no, like imagine you getting hit as hard as you can, real punch to the liver. I mean, people are saying that like a liver shot is like more crazier or
That's
deadlier
probably
than
that's
a
probably a
headshot.
separation of hardcore boxing UFC and maybe not. I wouldn't say casual because it's such a negative word to say you're a casual fan, but maybe somebody who's like a boxing fan in passing, where you assume headshots are how you knock people out.
Right,
You
right.
can knock somebody out with a body shot because, like you said, you hit somebody in the liver enough. That's not a
Like
pain you want to
it looks
continue
like
with.
it felt like it was like on the button too, like right under
Yeah,
the nipple, like area like that.
yeah, that's painful. You get hit there enough, and
Even in the stomach, like in that,
just
like anywhere
standing up,
in
it
that rib
feels
cage
like
area.
yeah, because just standing up will feel like you're kind of stretching it out, and it'll get painful, and then you're kind of boxing like favoring that side, and that's the worst thing as well. So
Then
yeah,
imagine if,
if you know
or
what you're doing,
imagine,
you can put somebody down
right, like or
with a
like
body
imagine if
shot.
he did get up, right, and they stunned him. Like even if he got up, Giovanni would have attacked it again in that same area, or even on the other side. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I get people wanted to go to distance like 12 rounds, but I mean, I thought it was too, but like it happened so quick that punch, like the way he ducked and he hit him on the button, like it it was a perfect time shot, and like, but like, what if Ryan got up and continued to fight because he had the chance. It was like 10-second count, so like he got up,
Mhm.
like he's on his knee, about to get it. He's like, nah, I can't. Like so, but imagine if he did continue to fight, he would have either knocked him out because he would have been stunned, or he would
Yeah,
have
if he's
targeted,
favoring the liver, he's leaving his face open. Now he's just gonna beat him
or
up there.
favoring that one side, hit him with another shot to the other side, or
Yeah,
so. I
smart
mean,
boxers wouldn't understand how to attack that if he starts
and Davis is
favoring.
right. Like in the press conference, I think. I mean, I don't know if you know. I mean, like, I don't know if you watch enough boxing, like me and Dylan do, but um, like Gervonte Davis, I think would be the best, like in this generation of boxers, the best all around
Okay.
fighter, a person who a boxer who can, move his head like Mayweather, like head movement, foot agility, person who can have. I mean, don't get me wrong. Both boxers had knockout power. I think Garcia had the left hook, which he's always like, oh, his left, which is dangerous. But Gervonte, that's Davis kind of said that in the press conference. Like, you're not really a true boxer because like all you have is a left hook. I got more things. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like Davis was even tired in the 7th round. I think he could still go on for 12 rounds or even more. I mean, he was more. Not saying that Garcia wasn't conditioned for the fight because he still looked good like coming into the fight, no problems. But Gervonte, with no argument, like he is probably one of the best all around boxers we've seen, just like Mayweather, where he obviously Mayweather has been in his corner, but now at the press conference, you usually have your trainer, your promoter, your manager. I mean, I know I didn't see Mayweather because there was. I don't think TMT or whatever they weren't behind it. I think it was his Golden Glove promotion, his own promotion. I get that. So Mayweather wasn't there at the press conference, but Oscar De La Hoya, he was there. And I don't know if I was tripping, but I did not see Oscar De La Hoya in his corner at all that night. And he was talking all that shit. I think so, I guess, for Garcia, but just like Melvin, I think Martin Luther said in the chat, or Chris said that, like, I think that Oscar just wanted some of Ryan Garcia's money. Because obviously, if you're if you're in the UFC or in the boxing, like at a press conference, usually it's just the fighters at the press conference in the UFC, but like usually at a main event for boxing, it's usually the fighter, your manager, your promoter.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of odd to not see Oscar there. Something might have happened. Something might have happened where the press conference and the weigh-in, or the last weigh-in and the last showdown, something happened. But yeah, I did not see him in Garcia's corner. I don't know if that would have made a difference. But some people are saying that, like, I mean, he's still a dangerous fighter, Garcia. But maybe he needs someone like Mayweather or someone I'm surprised he didn't have Canelo in his corner. Somebody who, like, is respected, or Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Someone who, has been there, done that. I know Oscar De La Hoya, he's been there, done that, but he got knocked out years ago, and he kind of like left the scene and left the boxing scene for a hot minute until he became like an announcer. But like Mayweather, I mean, Gervonte Davis, he's the complete package when it comes to boxing, man. Like he's proved it. Like 27, when that's 27 knockouts, I guess. Mm-hmm. Still undefeated. Well, I know they're undefeated coming into the fight, but people were saying that Gervonte hasn't faced a true opponent, but he faced Ryan Garcia, and what does he have to prove? Now, I would say maybe he can fight Haney, but I think he had an interview where he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing no water. I'm not doing no rehydration or whatever." So he might fight at 146. But I mean, yeah, I mean, my dad, me, my brother, and my dad split the fight 3 ways. So it wasn't, it was, but my dad, he was pissed. He was like, what the hell is this? Like,
well, I mean, I'm sure your dad probably remembers the times when people.
Well, yeah, Mike Tyson, like George Foreman.
It was like, what? This is what I paid for? So you got 7 rounds. That's, I mean, that's decent enough for, well, maybe not for the price tag. I mean, that's where that's coming from. But if you're gonna tell me a hype fight goes 7 rounds, I can live with that.
Well, because I thought it exceeded expectations because most people thought it was gonna be like high powered, high punches, which it was. Like people thought it was gonna end like 3, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, So the fact that it ended 7 rounds, I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean, I wish it ended went a little longer for the money. For what's that saying? Like your something bite for your buck or whatever.
Oh, bang for your buck.
Or bang for your buck, yeah. So, but like, do you have any other thoughts on that, or Like, who do you see Ryan? I feel like Ryan. I think they want a rematch. I think Ryan Garcia wants to fight or needs to fight other fighters to get prepared, like get more prepared.
Mhm.
Because like he really didn't have no head movement. Like he really didn't. He was leaving his face open. That's why he got knocked down in the second round.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, 'cause
um,
I heard. I mean, I saw Martin put in the group chat. He was talking about how he thinks Garcia is a really good fighter. It's just that he probably needs somebody to kind of show him like the nuance of boxing.
like the head
Because
movement, the
yeah, because
footwork.
because the way I'm picturing is like Garcia probably is a guy who,
Just a
his left
knockout
hook,
artist.
his left hook is probably deadly. So all
That's
he really
it.
knows is throwing the left hook and hopefully catching you. But
Right.
boxing is way more than that. Like you have to have counters. You have to,
Endurance.
yeah. So I kind of see where Martin's coming from, where it's like if you gave
And
Garcia some time with like a real seasoned boxer, maybe you have something there. But then I kind of see what you're saying. Like if that's the case, then all right, get a couple of fights in your back pocket, and then go back at Tank and see where you are there. Because if he's going to try to fight him now in the same condition, why should we
it's going
expect
to be the
anything
same
different?
result.
So um, maybe that's something where maybe I'm sure it's like Garcia's pride is like I want to fight him now, but he might have to take a step back and be like, look, let me get some more time in the gym. Let me round out
And
my form and all that, and then I'll be ready for him.
yeah, I mean they showed. I mean even Garcia showed great sportsmanship. I think they like exchanged numbers. I think after the post fight or post press conference. So like I mean obviously there was some feuding before the fight, but I'm pretty sure Gervonte kind of or what's the other I think Garcia no Davis earned Garcia's respect, or is it the other way around?
James Garcia. Well, I mean, I guess that could be true, even though Davis is the one who won.
Yeah,
Like if
I'm trying to
Garcia didn't
see.
respect him by him beating him, if he, I mean, I'm sure
I'm
they both
sorry,
gave
man.
respect for each other, but,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, these fighters understand the whole trash talking stuff. That's to sell the fight.
Yeah.
That's what most people want. They want to see two guys who hate each other. Yeah, I'll buy that. If they were both up there like hugging each other, people would be like, oh, I don't care about this. They're buddies.
Bro.
So they get the whole business of boxing. But after that, you're just two guys, putting your body on the line, trying to make a living for your family. And that's where the mutual respect can be. Because it's not
Right.
easy being a boxer. I mean, we've seen through history. Muhammad Ali, for how great he was, look at the toll it took on his body.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson, as great as a fighter he was, look what the business side of it did to him, where he was basically getting robbed right in front of his face, but he didn't know it because all he cared about was fighting.
Right. Right.
And you know, boxers, they understand, they get into this game. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with who's handling your money, who's in charge of promoting you. Like you got to be really careful about the people who have access to you. And I'm sure because of that, boxers when they meet up, they're like, look, we're fierce competitors, but we're just trying to make it in this wild world of boxing to be at the top, win belts, have the future set for your kids and all that. So there has to be
Right. Right. Right.
respect at a certain point.
Right. All right. Well, before we close it out, let's go to NFL. I know when I was on the boat, there was some breaking news that happened on the Ravens front.
Mm-hmm.
Odell Beckham signed with the Ravens for 1 year for like 15 million, I
I thought
think.
the breaking news was Lamar signed. I made a joke.
Oh, wait, what? What?
I said I thought the breaking news was Lamar signed. I made a joke because that
I
still hasn't
mean,
happened.
well, I was, I was gonna ask you like, with the Odell signing, kind of like push the
It
needle.
doesn't change a thing for me. Because they asked Odell, "Did you sign because of Lamar?" He told everybody Lamar didn't make any guarantee he was coming back to Baltimore, which let me know that OBJ just went there because Baltimore offered him a boatload of money for 1 year. And I think that the fact it's only 1 year is even interesting as well. Because maybe in Odell's mind, if Lamar comes back, it's just on the 1 year franchise tag. And then why would he sign for longer than that if there's no guarantee Lamar, even if he comes back, is not more than 1 year? Baltimore side, OBJ's been hurt the past 3 years he's actually played. Why would they tie up more than 1 year into him as well?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it changes anything in terms of Lamar. I'm sure Lamar is happy they signed him.
Right.
At least if he does go back on the franchise tag, it's a at least it's a upgrade at the position for as long as OBJ can play. But it probably doesn't move the needle either way for Lamar. I kind of thought the
Um.
Jalen Hurts thing might impact Lamar more, but then the more I thought about it, I don't think that does anything either. Other than proves another top talent got his money, but he didn't get fully guaranteed. And if somewhere in the back of Lamar's
Uh, it,
mind he still thinks,
it wasn't fully guaranteed his Kurt's contract.
no, I think Hurts is
It
it's
was a
like
team friendly
5
deal, right?
yeah, because I think the guarantee is only like 175.
Oh
So
wow.
it works up to like 30 something a
Do you
year
know what he
on the
wanted fully guaranteed? Hurts, or did they say what he wanted fully?
I don't think Hurts cared. Because
Hmm.
I believe so here's the issue with fully guaranteed. Tom Brady kind of screwed that up for everybody.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was never one of the highest paid quarterbacks because Tom Brady understood if I take too much money, that's going to leave a hole somewhere on the team that the team can't fill, which means the team may not be as good as it could be. So Brady always took less with the understanding that by him taking less, Belichick and the Patriots are going to have a really good team around him. For 20 years, that's what happened. Because that's what I kind of said with Lamar. A lot of people looked at that Ravens team and said, this team needs a lot of offensive weapons. And that's when Lamar was cheap because he's on the rookie deal. So now if you turn that rookie deal into like a $50 million a year deal, that's money that's being taken away from other players, other positions, and then how does the team look? So I think the Jalen Hurts thing probably makes Baltimore smile a little bit because they're like, see, us not offering you fully guaranteed isn't some slap in the face. It's just what the NFL is. Now, I
Right.
guess the question would be what what officially was Baltimore's offer to Lamar before the season? Because I think the other day I was hearing somebody talk about it and they said it was like 133 guaranteed, but it may not have even been like 5 years or something. So that made me think: what if Baltimore really likes Lamar, but they don't like him at 5 years at a time? What if they want to do 2 3 year deals with Lamar to kind of see where he is? And maybe Lamar's like, I don't want that. I want 5 years of security. What if that's the whole fight? Not necessarily the guaranteed money, but
Just
the
the
length
years.
of the deal.
Right. So maybe he wants to be like stay with the Ravens for more, like not in terms of money, but like maybe like
Most
Mahomes, like 10 years.
franchise quarterbacks they get at least 5 year deals.
Right.
So if Baltimore's like, we'll give you two with a third year option
Yeah,
type
so we
thing.
don't
He's
really
like,
know what the whole haul. Like we don't know if it's the length of the contract. I know it's the guaranteed money. Like that's the center, that's the nucleus of the whole situation. But like
"Mhm."
we don't know, like you said, if it's the year, the length, or like you know. So the draft is coming up. The last kind of segment of the show, the draft's coming up. Do you see the Ravens
Drafting a quarterback. Yep.
having the quarterback or having like a draft trade for Lamar? Do you see that happening or not? Or do you like something crazy happening?
I thought about this as well. If you are a fan of a draft day deal, I feel like the team that's probably in the best position for that might be Washington because
What pick is it?
Washington's
What do
sitting
they
at
have a high
11.
pick? 11th pick?
I think it's sitting at 11. So if you look at the top quarterbacks, none of them will really be there at 11. You know,
Yeah,
Stroud
they'll
will
be
be
off the
gone.
board.
Young will be
Levis.
gone. Levis probably would be gone.
What about
Richardson, I
Richardson?
still have no idea about Richardson.
He's like a question
Richardson
mark
to
for
me
you.
could go, he could go three, he could go 20 something to me, to be honest.
What about like Hendon Hooker? What about him? Even though he's hurt,
Hendon Hooker is apparently flying up draft boards all of a sudden.
that's what I've heard. Yeah,
And that might be, that might put a wrench in Baltimore's plans. Because if I'm Washington, I'm sitting at 11, Hendon Hooker's there. I may just take Hooker at 11. Like he probably won't be ready for the first part of the season.
yeah,
They have Sam Howell who can kind of, play until then. Because Sam Howell at least looked better than Wentz last year.
yeah.
I still think Atlanta's interesting at 8 because I feel like if Richardson's not there at 8, because I could see Atlanta taking a flyer on Richardson at 8. Would they reach and go crazy and take Hooker at 8? Maybe, but I think those are the two best bets. I don't know about Indianapolis at 3. Only way I see that is if they're in love with Stroud or Young, and those two go 1 and 2, then maybe you can convince Indianapolis to get the third pick.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it. I think it's Washington, Atlanta, maybe Tennessee, but Tennessee's pick is. I'm trying to think where Tennessee's pick is. Although supposedly Tennessee might move up in the draft.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of
Which,
moves in the draft. I think a lot of trades.
well, yeah, because Houston supposedly might move their pick because Houston is now a team where they don't necessarily see themselves having to take Stroud or Young at 2. They're willing to move back and maybe take like Hooker, who might be hanging around at 15 or 16.
This is gonna sound
Take him
crazy.
there.
It's gonna sound
But
crazy as hell, man. Maybe not. I think that the reason why there's so much time between Lamar signing and we still got D Hop on the market, right? I think, and I think the Cardinals just said that. I think that they just reported that they would take a second round pick for D Hop. I think
I
they
think there's
just
a
said that.
chance D Hop might get released at some point.
I think that maybe I'm biased. I think to get a
You can take
Lamar.
a baby out of that. We all know you're biased.
I think
Let's hear
draft
this.
day, Lamar extended, and we trade a pick for D Hop to the Ravens. I think we give away a second round pick for D Hop. It could happen.
Okay.
I
So
think it
now
could
play
happen.
out the season. What does that make Baltimore?
Like what you mean?
So you have Lamar back. You have Hopkins and
Odell
OBJ.
and Bateman.
Okay, yeah. So how do you see Baltimore looking at that point?
As far as
Do
like
you
record
think
wise, or
they
as far as
do you think they're a slam dunk division winner?
yeah, I mean, I want to see what Odell's first half, or if it can even, because he did look good in the workouts, but it's it doesn't.
He's going
That's
against nobody. I don't
I
care
mean,
about that.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, it's no full pads, you know what I'm saying. So I want to see how he does in the first couple games. Um, even with Bateman, because I know he's hurt. He came back. Duvernay's coming back. I think he's more of like he'll be like a more depending on who we draft, we might draft a receiver. If he keeps the 22 pick, I don't know if he's gonna say. I don't know if we're gonna trade that first round pick, move up.
I mean, if I'm
It's
Baltimore,
either a
I
receiver or
sign
cornerback. I heard.
OBJ. I'm gonna trade for D Hop, and then I gotta take another wide receiver at 22.
Well,
That's
it's either receiver or cornerback. But I'm just saying.
because you could bank on cornerback. Baltimore is gonna take a defensive player in the
Oh,
first
yeah,
round.
so,
I think.
well, are you saying that if we get D Hop in trade, or are you saying no D Hop? we
And
still
if
get
you
a
don't get D
corner.
Hop, I think Baltimore goes defense at 22.
I mean, the draft is all about if you don't move up or down, it's all about the next player available. It could be a D end. It could be that dude. Well, he might go higher. He might go probably earlier on, like Van Ness or whatever his name is, whatever
He
that
won't be there.
defense. Yeah, but if we were getting a receiver, if he's there, I would like Jackson Smith and Jigma. If he's there,
He
or
won't be
Zay
there.
Flowers,
He won't be there.
we'll see. We'll see. Because obviously the first couple are gonna be quarterbacks and like and maybe some DN, some linemen.
There's
Maybe
a
I'm
good
assuming.
chance JSN probably goes in the top 12. Zay Flowers probably goes in the top 18.
Oh, forgot about Addison too. Jordan Addison. Forgot about him too.
Addison might be there because it seems like Addison out of the three of them is
He's
falling for some reason.
he's the same height as Hollywood Brown, right? He's short, right? Or is he taller than him?
Addison's not a big guy. Zay Flowers isn't a big guy either.
Yeah.
Like Zay Flowers had to put on weight to get people to actually notice him.
Right,
Before the
right.
combine, he weighed like 165, which was
Like Jack. I
crazy.
mean, even well, I'm not. I'm surprised the LSU wide receiver is not being looked at like as crazy from LSU. He hasn't really been in the limelight as far as receiver talent. Um, Keon
He was
Butte.
never going to be a first round. He was never going to be a first round guy.
Oh, really? Hmm.
He
But
was seen as a second, third type wide receiver. Johnston will be there at 22 because
who?
Johnston's another guy who's kind of
He's from TCU, right?
He's
He's a
kind
big
of
body.
falling right now.
Is he a big body receiver?
Yeah, that's his one claim to fame. He's a big body, tall guy who can go up and get it. So
Yeah.
if that's what you want, he'll be there at 22. I feel confident in that. It's whether
Yeah.
or not Baltimore would take him or maybe take a defensive guy, maybe trade up to get him early
I
second
think
round or something
I
like
think
that.
some I think the Ravens are. I think I mean they've done a good job in the draft. They got Kyle Hamilton, they got Hal Lindenbaum. They drafted really well. It's not like they're a poor team at drafting players. I mean, obviously they got Lamar Jackson at 32. I mean, so they've done in the past. They got Patrick Queen from LSU. I mean, so they've done a good job at drafting players. I don't have any doubt of we're gonna. I think the Ravens are gonna. They're cooking something up on the low. So hopefully it's either moving up in the draft
This
or
whole
staying put.
offseason's been on the low. They better be doing something on the low.
Well, I'm saying
Their
like they're
offseason's been
not
Agleworth.
really like obviously teams are not gonna or front offices are not gonna tell their plans. So that's with any team, because anything can happen. Draft trades, like people can move up. So I have faith in the Ravens of what they're gonna do. I mean, they drafted like you said, Carl
I mean,
Hamilton.
as a fan, you better have faith in them.
Oh, I mean, I've always had faith. Ollie Newsom has done a good
Yeah.
job, and now EDC's. I mean, I'd rather have Ollie Newsom still as the GM or as making the doing the draft trades, but he's still in the room in the draft war room. But EDC is calling the shots. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see like what teams move up. Do you have Bryce Young going one and Stroud going two, or do you have opposite? Or do you have a sneaky quarterback going number one, or do you have anybody?
I still have a feeling Stroud goes one, but
Are you saying Stroud goes the number one to the Panthers?
I think, but I kind of feel like Young is more in play now. I just feel like
it's Thursday, right?
I think
It's Thursday.
the one thing holding Young back was his height. But I think people have kind of moved past that now.
Right.
And now if you're doing that, if you look at Young versus Stroud, just in terms of game tape for college,
Yeah.
Young beats him by a mile. The one thing with Stroud is the game against Georgia in the playoffs with last year, he was getting beat up, but he still played well. And I think that was the moment where I kind of was like, I could see Stroud going number one. But
So before before we end the show, I got a question. So like with the Ravens, right? Like the only way we move up, do you think Lamar Jackson's in that talk and is in that package? If we move up, that's the only chance we move up. Because if we're moving up, we're probably gonna get a quarterback or or a high profile receiver. So do you think Lamar is in that? Because do you think if we stay put at 22 or 23, Lamar is probably not in it until maybe after the draft? But if we move up, do you think Lamar is in that conversation of moving up? Or
If
do you think they're
Baltimore
in
were to
Lamar's
move
minds
up,
about moving up?
if Baltimore moved up to like top 8, I'm assuming that's because Lamar is getting dealt. If they move up to like 15 or something like that, I think that's just them moving up because they're targeting a guy who's falling in the draft, but they don't think he's going to be there at 22. So that
Hmm.
could be
So you said if we go
that could be
top,
like Porter Jr. He's probably going to go after Gonzalez and maybe after Witherspoon. I think if Porter Jr. makes it past like New England at 14, because I think New England might go corner at 14,
mm-hmm.
then Baltimore may look at it and be like, Gonzalez, Witherspoon are gone. Porter Jr.'s still there, but I don't know if he's going to last from 14 to 22. Maybe we call, I don't know, whoever's at 15 or 16, do a trade of like a first and a third to move up there. If that happens, I'd be like, Lamar probably has nothing to do with that. That's probably just them targeting a guy
A
and
guy,
moving up.
yeah,
If they, like I said, they vault up to top
like
6,
eight.
top 7, that has to be a Lamar deal. It has to be. And if it's not, I mean, that's going to be really interesting. Like if they sit there and were to move up that high to take a quarterback, not fully understanding what they're doing with Lamar, I think that gets even messier. Because you probably would be hurting yourself in negotiations because teams would be like, well, we're really not going to offer you a lot because you just took a guy. So now you really have to move Lamar. I mean, I still think we'll probably hear a lot about Lamar this week.
Yeah.
Um, Probably like Tuesday, Wednesday. I would not be surprised if some rumor comes out from like Schefter or one of these guys about Lamar. That's what I think.
Yeah, like you're definitely not wrong about that. I mean, it's draft week. It's Thursday, right? That's when it starts.
Yep,
That's the first.
that's round 1 Thursday. I'm trying to remember how they do it now. Round 1 Thursday is like rounds 2 and 3 Friday. Then the rest of the draft is Saturday.
Saturday. To wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that wraps it up, man. I mean, do you have any other topics you want to talk about, or that's any
That's
final thoughts?
all I could think about. Well, I will say I will be on the live stream for the first round at least of the draft because we have pregame pigskin on
Oh,
Thursday.
yeah.
We decided we'll just do the draft that day, so really excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
To talk about Gene Godfrey about the draft as it goes on. Hopefully, my Patriots make a pick because I know they love trading out of it, but I mean, give me something to cheer. But I think it's gonna be fun because I, like you, think the first round on Thursday
It's gonna
might
be
be
interesting.
the most unpredictable
Ah,
of a
man.
draft I can remember because outside of one with Carolina, we assume Carolina didn't move up to 1 to then move back. We know they're taking their pick, but Houston at 2 could move. Arizona at 3 probably is going to move. The Colts at 4 could try to move up to 2. Like it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be
So
wild, man.
I cannot wait for that. This is one of the best times of the sports schedule NFL draft for me.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And I give props to all the analysts and not analysts who make up a draft mock drafts because I mean I can't follow all these
I
players, man. It's
I love
hard.
mock drafts.
Oh no, I do too. It's just like going in depth of like, oh, this dude's a 4-3 defensive back who
Well,
plays to the right.
it's
It's
different
like,
for those guys because they're
yeah,
literally
they
getting paid to cover college football.
right.
It's a little different for people like you or I,
Like
where it's like we talk football one day, we could talk basketball this day, we could talk whatever. Like if I solely like stuck to the NBA or something, yeah, I'd get it in depth like that. I would know the backup center of Creighton or something like that.
right.
I couldn't tell you who it was right now, but you know, but yeah, McShay, guys
Yeah,
like that, like
Mel
this is
Kiper.
their Christmas right now because
Oh
they're gonna
yeah,
tell you about guys who play at schools you've never even heard of, and they'll like know their whole bio and everything, which is wild to me. But um, hey, that's for the love of their job, and I give them all the respect in the world.
yeah. Yeah, man. I think the thing that wraps up the show. I'm Jordan Jean Louis. I got my co-host Kyle Edwards on the show, man. I know we have the cheap seats. I think tomorrow
Hmm.
on the network, and then we have the big three. I'll be back on there. I got allergies, so I'm recovering from allergies. That's why I didn't come on the show. I was sick, but I'm getting better, so I should be good for Tuesday's show. But other than that,
I will
man, I
say, big
mean,
three, we are going to be doing a mock draft. That's
okay,
kind of the whole
like
episode
that's like the
because
last draft or last kind
yeah,
of.
as draft week, we might as well just do a mock draft and call it a day. So
So how are we gonna do that? Just like pick our teams and like, or just how you gonna do that? How you gonna do that? Like
yeah,
like
we'll
like
do
I'll be the
7
Ravens
rounds.
GM, you be the
Yeah,
Patriots GM.
we'll be the Ravens. I'll either be Patriots or Falcons, depending on Lennon. Dylan will be Seahawks.
Oh,
Jake
Lenon's
will
part of
be.
the show, or he's part of the draft thingy, or he wants to
I
do it.
mean, he was never like officially added to the show, but
Yeah,
I kind of just put him in the group chat because I like anytime he wants to come on the show
yeah,
because it kind of seems like Tuesday's the day he can
he's
do.
free. Yeah,
Yeah, so I was like, anytime you're free, come on. I don't care because he knows football and all that. He knows NBA, so yeah. Um, and I
I'm
think
fine with
because
that.
he's really big on mock drafts, so I'm sure he'll want to do it as well. So I think we'll have some fun with it. Some people in the chat may pick for teams. I don't know. I don't even know which way it's gonna go. But yeah, we'll
Yeah, I mean, I think that
take
that wraps up
control
the
of our
show,
own
man.
team and
Yeah. Well, it's definitely been a good one. Like I said, I'm Jordan Louis. I'm got my book Kyle Edwards, and you guys can see us on the Sports Empire Network tomorrow, 2 nights in a row. Well, 2 nights in a row, Monday and Tuesday. So check us out, Sports Empire Network on
Monday,
Facebook,
Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. Then you're on Pigskins Thursday for the draft. So that's perfect. But yeah, man. So yeah, we are out. We are out.